resisting you from your desires. All right. So number one is believing in the lack. Okay. Believing in the lack. What do I mean? Right? Getting rid of that lack mindset, right? You got to understand, guys, that when you live in a state of lack, of not being enough or not having enough, you spend a lot of effort trying to prove to the world that you are enough. And that blocks you from all the blessings that can ever come into your life because, you spend your whole life and time thinking about the lack of money, the lack of resources, the lack of information, the lack of love. And you don't want to focus on the lack, okay? Remember, whatever you focus on will grow. Okay. So make sure that each and every single one of you guys that are listening to this call right now, that you get rid of that lack mindset. Okay. It's all perspective. It's all about how you look at things, right? If you look at things and you truly believe that you are living in lack and lack of money and lack of health and lack of resources and lack of love, if you focus on that, then that's what will continue to grow and that's what you will continue to attract into your reality. But now, if you focus on abundance, focusing on the abundance that you have in your life, even if you might not have that abundance, but if that's what you focus on, okay, you will get that. Because I remember when I was broke. I remember when I lacked love. I remember when I lacked business partners in my life, but I never focused on that. I always focused on the abundance of money that was coming my way. I always focused on the abundance of business partners that were going to join my business. I focused on the abundance of blessings that God and the universe were going to bless me with. So understand, guys, you just stop trying to prove to other people and the world that you don't have anything. Prove to people that you do have everything. Okay. And remember, when you focus on the lack, that doesn't make you feel good. That means that you're going to vibrate at a low level. All right. And you can't attract high vibrational goals vibrating at a low level. So the first thing that you have to get rid of, the very first block that you have to get rid of is the block that is holding you back, which is lack. Okay. Get rid of that block. Okay. Because thinking in a state of lack holds you back more than you know. So that's number one. All right. Number two. All right. The second block that is holding you back is thinking that there's not enough to go around. Okay. Understand this, guys. Stop living in the shadows and denying the light of who you truly are. Okay. Stop living in the shadows. Okay. And stop denying the light of who you truly are. Understand, guys, that there is enough for everybody. Okay. I remember listening to this one audio once, and, my mentor, Jim Rohn, said most people go to the ocean with a teaspoon. Okay. Most people go to the ocean with a teaspoon thinking that there's not enough for everybody else. But why didn't you show up with a bucket? Why didn't you show up with something bigger? Okay, show up to that ocean and know that there's enough water, there's enough abundance, there's enough money, there's enough blessings for all of us to eat and make money and change our lives. Stop trying to think that there's not enough for any of us to go around. Because look, guys, at the end of the day, if you feel like there's not enough to go around, right, you're living in a state of fear. Okay, you have to shift your mindset from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. Okay, and once you do that, understand that there is going to be enough to go around. There is going to be enough money. There is going to be enough business partners. All right, you got to approach the world as a vibrational reality rather than a physical space. That's where that's when everything is going to start to become real in your life. So remember that. Approach the world as a vibrational reality. You have to create the vibration that you want. You have to live in that reality, right? Live in that reality of abundance. Live in that reality that you are enough, that you do have an abundance of money, that you do have successful people joining your business every day, that you are healthy, that you are strong, that you are living in your truest version of yourself. Like, I want you guys to do that because that's the key. And I've understood that for a very long time, and it's changed my life. It's changed my life. And when you think that there's not enough to go around, it's like being 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Okay, you can't have 1 foot in the world of abundance and 1 foot in the world of lack. Okay, This whole thing works with abundance. All right, this whole thing works with alignment. Is either you think of abundance or you think of lack. You can't have one foot in abundance and one foot in the lack. You have to be either all the way in with abundance or all the way in with lack. Okay, and whichever one you choose will determine your reality, guys, and that's super super important. Okay, and that's something that I had to understand. That's why now I only focus on the abundance. And you guys could probably be like, Nano, it's easy for you to say. You live in a beautiful penthouse in Miami, you're making all this money a month, your crypto portfolio looks great, you travel the world. But guys, I was thinking like that when I had nothing. I was thinking like that when my bank account looked like gas prices. I was thinking like that when I had a team of 10 people. I was thinking in a state of abundance when I had nothing. So remember, guys, everything that I had today is because I attracted it through my thoughts. I became this reality before I even had this reality. Understand that. Everything I had today, I became before I had it. Okay. I'm still the same person I was a year ago, 2 years ago, in terms of the way I was thinking, right? But guess what? Now I have what I was thinking about. I was thinking about this penthouse. I was thinking about the thousands of people on my team. I was thinking about the success, and now I'm that. Guess what? Now I'm having different thoughts that's going to help me attract the next step in my life, the next phase in my life, the next level in my life. Why? Because I'm thinking in abundance. All right, guys. So number two is thinking that there's not enough to go around. Get rid of that mindset. There is enough to go around, right? Number three is comparing yourself. That's one of the biggest blocks that's holding you back from getting to the next level, family. You got to remember this. Comparison is the thief of all joy. Comparison is the thief of all joy. And we are all guilty of this behavior. We are all guilty of this behavior. We are all guilty of comparing ourselves to the next person, to the next leader, to the person who's above us. Man, he has more than me. Man, he's making more. Man, I wish I had that lifestyle. I wish, I wish, I wish. Remember, guys, there's a difference between wishing for something and actually being ready to receive it. You heard that, right? There's a difference between wishing for something and actually being ready to receive it.
Sheesh, that's a good one.
Okay? Stop comparing yourself. What's going to make you, all right, deserving to receive what you're asking for is focusing on you, focusing on your growth, focusing on your morning routine, focusing on your results, focusing on your team. Okay? Focus on you, family. Take your focus off of all the things that are not bringing you any value and focus on you. As long as you change, everything will change. Because understand this, right? The moment you compare yourself, you lose the power to attract. Think about it. How do you feel when you compare yourself? How do you feel when you compare yourself and the person that you're comparing yourself to is more successful, makes more money, has a better relationship than you do, is surrounded by great mentors, right? How do you think that makes you feel? It doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel less than. Okay. And remember, you can't attract when you're feeling down, when you're feeling less than, when you're feeling depressed. So when you compare yourself, you lose your power to attract. And understand, right? Every time you compare yourself with someone, you reinforce feelings of inadequacy. You reinforce feelings of inadequacy. Now, what is inadequacy? What's the definition, right? It's the inability to deal with a situation or life. So when you start to feel this, when you start to feel like, you don't know how to deal with certain situation and you have the inability, that's not a good feeling, right? And those feelings are strong. All right. You don't want to compare yourself to anybody. Okay. Energy goes where your intention flows. Listen to that one. Your energy goes where your intention flows. So whatever you want to do is focus your energy on becoming a better version of you. All right. Because if you focus your energy on you, the intention will flow towards you. Everything that you ask for will come toward.
All right, guys, let's get this call started. I am super excited to be here. Grand Rising, happy Monday. It is September 22nd, 2025. And I'm just so blessed and excited to be here with you guys. Who's having a good start to their week? Put a 111 in the chat box. If you are having a great start to your week, you're having a good start to your Monday, you're feeling good, you're feeling amazing, you poured into yourself this morning, you're doing the work, you went to the gym, you did your morning routine, you did what was required. 111s for me for sure. I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling aligned. Woke up early this morning, been in the gym, did the sauna sessions, did my reading, did my visualization, did my prayer, did my Bible study. Only thing I'm missing is a little bit of my journal that I got to finish up. But besides that, guys, I am feeling so good. And it just feels amazing to wake up this morning and start the week off on the right foot with the right energy, with the right vibrations, and just putting myself in a great environment, in a good state of mind, in a good frequency that is going to allow me to attract and become the version of myself that I know I can be, fam. So very well. So I'm excited for today's call. I pray that you guys are also excited as well. Good morning, my brother Joy Medina. I see you, brother. But I hope everybody's having a great day. If you're new to this morning call, my name is Nano. I am the host. We go live every single morning, Monday through Fridays at around 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on YouTube and on Instagram. And we teach everything from leadership to mindset to biblical principles, etc., and so much more. So we're on our way to doing some amazing things. And today I wanted to teach on a very powerful sermon that I heard yesterday. As you guys know, a couple times a week, I like to teach from the Bible. And because this message is so fresh in my mind, I wanted to share it with you guys here today, because going into the season that we're going into and everything that's also been happening all around the world, I think that this is a valuable message that we should all hear. And for myself, I even want to hear it again. So today's message is titled, "This Battle I Cannot Lose." All right. This battle I cannot lose. All right. And I want you guys all to know that there's a lot going on in the world, right? But we're all facing some kind of battles. Some of us are facing financial battles. Some of us are facing relationship battles. Some of us are facing spiritual battles. A lot of us, we're facing some kind of battle in our lives, right? Put a 2 in the chat if you're facing any kind of battle right now. If you're in a fight with any kind of particular subject or just season in your life, right? I'll put a 2 in the chat for myself, right? I have areas in my life that are going amazingly, but then I have areas in my life where I'm also being tested myself, right? So we can all agree that we're all facing some kind of battle in our lives, right? So yesterday, my pastor, shout out to Rich Wilkerson, you know, it's been a while since I cried at church. I'll be real. I actually was crying, like shedding tears at church because of how powerful the sermon was, and just the worship after and everything. And I'm like, wow. And look at how life actually works. I woke up a little bit late. I was late to wake up because the night before that I was watching the Bad Bunny concert on Amazon, and we had a ton of fun. It was dope. We went to sleep late. The next morning, I woke up a little bit late, and I almost told myself, you know what? I think I'm gonna just skip church today and I'm gonna just watch it online. Like, I was gonna watch it regardless, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it online. And it's so funny because I called up one of my sisters. Her name is Marcy, and I try to convince her, like, hey, let's watch church from my house, and let's watch church from my house and have brunch. We'll make brunch, the whole nine. And it was supposed to be me, her, and my girl. And she was like, nah, bro, I'm going to church. I want to see it in person. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go in person. And I'm like, sheesh. And now I'm like, okay, if you're going, then I'm gonna go too. It was almost like, and this is why having good friends is so important, right? And she's probably not on this call. She's not gonna hear this, but I had to message her. I mean, I had to tell her at church after that. I'm glad that she went, because had she said, "All right, bro, good, all right, bro, I'm coming over. We'll have brunch and we'll watch church online," which in my eyes, I don't see nothing wrong with that, right? You're one time a month that you go and watch it online. It's cool. It is what it is, right? It was raining outside and everything. But I'm so glad that she said she was going, because now it was almost like, if she's going, I gotta go as well, because we were all supposed to go together. So I end up going, and this is why they say the call that you miss the the church session that you don't go to is usually the one that you need the most, right? Isn't that crazy how that is? Because I almost missed it. And I'll tell you guys this is remember, I would have got the message, but I wouldn't have had the same emotional impact that it had on me. Remember, there's only two ways to change a paradigm. You can change a paradigm through repetition, or you can change it through an emotional impact. Yesterday at church was an emotional impact for me, right? But it was because I was there in person. It's not the same when you watch it online and when you go in person, right? It's not the same. If you watch it online, you still get the message, don't get me wrong. But when you go in person, you get the message and you get the emotional impact because you're in the energy. And I'm so grateful that I went because I was able to get the full experience, right? And the whole message was about a battle that we're all in that we cannot lose. And I want to be able to share with you guys my biggest takeaways because it was a long sermon, but I was able to get 5 big takeaways that I got from this that I know is going to impact each and every single one of you. So put a 5 in the chat if you guys are ready to receive today's message, all right? Because today's message is going to be a powerful one. All right, I'm telling you guys right now, it is going to be a powerful one. Here are the 5 biggest takeaways that I got from the battle I cannot lose. Get yourself ready. Get your pens and paper ready because this training is about to shift every single one of you guys. And after today, I'm going to do my best to recreate the same exact experience that my pastor gave me at church yesterday. I'm going to do my best to recreate that experience here as well. All right. So let's go right into this, right? The key takeaway number 1 that I got was, if God is for you, who can be against you? If God is for you, who can be against you? Right? It's actually a Bible verse. All right. It's actually a Bible verse. Romans 8:31, verses 31 through 33. It says, if God is for us, then who can be against us? Now, what does it mean? What was he trying to explain to us with that? That opposition is not opposition doesn't mean that there's an absence of God's favor. It just means that you're on the right path and the enemy sees your potential. That was important for me to understand that, right? Let me repeat that again. Opposition, the challenges that you're going through, the obstacles that you're working to overcome, everything that you're doing in your life right now that is challenging you, is forcing you to grow, is making you uncomfortable. Everything that you're dealing with, from your finances to your relationships to your spiritual life to the warfare, everything. Opposition does not mean the absence of God's favor. So the fact that you're dealing with that doesn't mean that God is against you. It just means that you're on the right path and the enemy sees your potential. The enemy doesn't want you to grow. The enemy doesn't want you to have that beautiful relationship. The enemy doesn't want you to have that relationship with the Lord. So because you're on the right path, you're being tested. Because you're on the right path, you're being challenged. But the only reason you're being challenged is because the enemy sees potential in you. He sees that you can be somebody that can change the world. He sees that you can be somebody that can build beautiful businesses and help other people get closer to the Lord. But guess what? This is a battle we can't lose. You know why? Because God is for us. God is on our side. He's not against us. He's on our side. And you got to always remember that. All right. You cannot let the fact that you're dealing with some challenges make you forget that God is on your side. When I woke up this morning, I literally told myself, yo, God, you're on my side. Like yesterday, he gave this example. And he said, yo, imagine that you're on a basketball court, right? And he said, imagine you're picking teams, and the people to pick is, he mentioned a name, Jose, Eugene. He mentioned Bam Bam. And then he said, imagine you also had LeBron James there, right? He said, if you have all of these people there and you had to pick a team, who's going to be your first pick, right? Let me know in the chat. Would you pick Jose? Would you pick Eugene? Would you pick Bam Bam? Or would you pick LeBron? If you had to pick a team, if you had to pick somebody to play basketball with, who would you pick, right? And the obvious answer is I'm picking LeBron James. Why? Right? Because LeBron is one of the best in the world, right? We know that if we have LeBron James on our team, the chances of us winning are a lot higher, if not only going to win because we have LeBron James on our team. So here's another thing that we don't understand, and that a lot of us actually let go over our head. We got God on our team. So how could we ever lose when we have God on our team? Still not MJ, I agree. But more people know LeBron during these times, right? He's currently playing, so we'll use LBJ. But I'm more of an MJ. I'm actually more of a Kobe fan than I am a LeBron James fan, just for the record. But just for the example, right? We got to remember we have God on our team, and He's the best in the world. He's the best in the whole entire world, in the whole entire universe, and we have Him on our team. So we got to remember this battle that we're all facing in life, we have God on our side. But the thing is, a lot of us are not leveraging and are not building that relationship with God to actually use Him as our team member. We have the best player in the world on our team, but we're not using him. We're not leveraging him. We're not talking to him. We're not building a relationship with him. So a lot of us are fighting this battle alone. We're fighting a battle alone that we should be fighting in a team. And this is important that we all understand. And I had to understand that myself. Even though I've been able to build a very good relationship with the Lord, there was a lot of times throughout my life that I tried to fight my battles on my own. And guess what? I did lose those battles because I was alone. But you know what? Ever since I started reading more, going to church more, being more obedient, doing more, guess what? I feel like every challenge, every battle I have in my life, yes, I struggle sometimes. Yes, I got to go through the struggles of it and stuff like that, but eventually I end up winning. And it's okay because you need the challenge, you need to grow. As a matter of fact, God gives permission to the enemy to test you. I don't know if you guys know that. You guys ever read the story of Job? The story of Job is one of the most powerful stories in the Bible. Did you know that the devil asked God for permission to test Job? And it was literally, the devil went to God, to Jesus, and said, allow me to test this guy right here. Allow me to test Job, which at the time was one of the wealthiest people in the Bible. He had multiple houses. He had all the farms, the animals, the families, etc. Right? And God gave permission to the devil to test Job. And his instructions were, test him. The only thing you can't do is kill him. So the devil went and took away literally burned all his fields, his houses, his kids were killed, everything. Tested every single area of his life. But the beautiful thing about Job was, even though in the test of everything, he stood faithful. He believed in the Lord. He trusted in his guidance. He trusted in his faithfulness. And he passed the test. After he passed the test, not only did God reward him, but he doubled and tripled everything that he once had. He gave him everything that he had plus more in the end. If you guys have never read that story, that was the first story I ever read in the Bible, which was a story of Job. One of the most powerful stories you'll ever read. And if you're ever facing any battles or any tests, and you think that you're going through it, I want you to read that book in the Bible, and then you'll really have a real perspective, and you'll realize that what you're going through is nothing compared to what Job went through in the Word. But what was valuable about that is that you guys got to remember, because Job had favor in his life, because he was on the right path, the enemy asked God for permission to test. Let me tell you guys something. We are all on the right path right now. We're on the right path. Think about it. You guys are here this morning, pouring into yourselves, listening to your mentor teach you guys from the Word. Some of you guys are waking up. We're reading every day, right? So we're doing our reading. We're doing our journaling. We're reading the Bible. We're doing all these things. We're on the right path. Some of us are going to the gyms in the mornings. We're listening to worship music. We're listening to audios. We're listening to podcasts. We're on the right path. Don't let your lack of results and the lack of money determine your value. All right. You know why you're valuable? Because you have God in your life. Never let your lack of money, your lack of results in business deem you unworthy or unvaluable. You're valuable because we have God's love in our lives. God loves us. He's there for us. And this is extremely valuable. And this is something I want all of us to understand. All right. This is so key. God is for you. He's not against you. So this battle that you're facing right now, you have God in your life. Don't worry about it. Everything is going to end up working out. That's number one. Number two, valuable key lesson that I got was this battle is spiritual, not just physical. All right. This battle is spiritual, not just physical. All right. You see, this life on earth, remember, it's a spiritual warfare. Fatigue, fear, and condemnation are the real enemies, not people. What we're facing is spiritual. The fact that people feel tired, they're filled with fear, they're filled with doubt, worry, those are all spiritual feelings, emotions. We got to change that. Those are the real enemies because that's not of God. Fear is not of the Lord. Fatigue, condemnation, worry, insecurity, doubt, that doesn't come from God. You know who that comes from? That comes from the enemy. And you know what? Majority of people in the world are living their lives in those emotions. They're living their lives in fear. They're living their lives in doubt, in worry, in insecurity, in condemnation. And look, I know I show this chart a lot, but it's because this chart makes you realize where you are in life, right? Just think about this, right? Look at this chart right here. This shows the emotional guidance scale right here. If you look at the bottom of, if you look at the downward spiral, if you look at the bottom right there, look at the words that are, look at the emotions that represent the enemy: fear, grief, depression, powerlessness. Look at number 20, jealousy. Look at 19, hatred and rage. Number 21, you guys can't see it because my picture is covering it, but the emotions that number 21 say: insecurity, guilty, unworthiness, revenge, anger, blame. You guys see this? But think about this real quick. Have you guys seen the energy on social media lately? Right? I had to take like a 72-hour break from social media because if you guys were to realize this, majority of people right now on social media, they're a representation of the downward spiral. Think about it. From number 13 and down, that's how people are feeling right now. That is the energy of majority of our society right now, and that is the truth. Just look at number 13 and down. Look at number 13 all the way down. Majority of the world is on a downward spiral right now with everything that's been happening, from the killings to the assassinations to everything that you could imagine. The interest rates going up, the financial situations that are happening all around the world. All right, everything right now, from businesses to marriages failing, everything. Think just not just one thing, just everything that's happening. Look at number 13 and down. 13 is doubt. Number 14, worry. Number 15, blame. 16, discouragement. 17, anger. 18, revenge. 19, hatred and rage. 20, jealousy. 21, insecurity, guilt, unworthiness. 22, fear, grief, depression, powerlessness, and victim. This is where majority of the world is. And it's extremely unfortunate. Is this a book? No, it's a chart. Let me show you. Look at this. Let me show it to my people on Instagram real quick so they can see it. It's a chart. It's called the Emotional Guidance Scale. Look it up. It represents the emotions that people vibrate on a day-to-day basis. And if you're on the downward spiral, then it's a pretty good chance that, guess what? You're not on the right vibration. If you're on this call today and you want to attract good things into your life, but you're always filled with doubt, fear, you're blaming other people for your lack of success, you feel discouraged, you're angry, fear, insecurity, all of that, you're not on the right vibration right now. I want you to actually become extremely aware of that. This is not something to play around with. All right. Remember, the battle is spiritual, not just physical. This is important that we all understand that. And when you're on the right-hand side, on the downward spiral, that's because the enemy has taken over your life. The enemy has more influence in your life than God does if you're on the right-hand side of this thing right here. Because if you were connected to God, you would be in the emotions, I would say 1 through 4. You would be feeling joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, passion, enthusiasm, positive expectation of belief. That's how you would be feeling right now. You would have woke up this morning full of joy, full of joy, full of love. Yes, you can rewatch this on YouTube. Full of freedom, full of passion, full of enthusiasm, full of a positive expectation of belief. That's where you would be. But if you're not vibrating at this level, then that means the enemy has more influence on you right now than God does. We need to fix that. Because you know what the thing is? We spend more time on social media than we do reading the Bible. We spend more time listening to music than listening to worship. We spend more time listening to everything else that everybody got to say instead of listening to the right people and the right podcasts and the right audios. That's why there's such a big influence on you that the enemy has than God has. That's the problem. We're not doing the work to feel joy, to feel empowered, to feel freedom, to feel love, to feel appreciation. We're not on an upward spiral. So if you're not on that upward spiral, you got to fix that. You got to change that. You got to make the shift. You got to make the shift. That's really what you have to do. You have to pivot and get on this vibration. When I woke up this morning, what did I do? I prayed. I did my 15 minutes of Bible study. I started reading Romans today. I went to the gym. I went to the sauna. I came back home. I visualized my goals. I read a chapter of my new book that I'm currently reading. All right. I'm jumping on Mornings with Nano. I'm sharing this message with you guys. Guess what? I feel amazing right now. I feel great right now. I'm full of joy. I'm full of love. I'm full of appreciation. I'm full of passion. I'm full of enthusiasm. I got a positive expectation of belief. I'm vibrating at a good level right now. I'm not letting the enemy fill my mind with doubts, with fears, with worry, disappointment. I'm not angry at anybody. I don't got hate for anybody. I'm not jealous of anybody. I'm not fearful of anything. I'm not depressed. I'm not insecure about anything. I know I'm going to win. I got God on my side. How could I ever lose? There's over 200. I think he said something yesterday. He said there's over 2,000. Let me see. What did he say yesterday? He said there's over 2,000 prophecies in the Bible. There's over 2,000 prophecies in the Bible. He never lost one. God has never lost a battle. God has never lost a battle. So what makes you think he's going to lose this battle that you're on? God has never lost a battle. You can't lose. You literally on this call, every single one of us, the 100 plus of us that are on this call, we cannot lose. This is a battle we will not lose. So stop worrying so much. You're not going to lose. You're going to win. Stop being so doubtful. Stop being insecure. Stop having fear. You're going to win. I'm telling you, you are. You're going to win. But remember, it's a spiritual battle that we're fighting. It's spiritual warfare. So we got to put the work in ourselves. Because here's something that my pastor said yesterday. He said, fatigue makes cowards of us all, but faith makes conquerors of us, of us all. Sorry. But conquerors is the key. Fatigue, though, what's fatigue? Being tired. You know what? It's September 22nd. We've been at it for 9 months this year already. We're going into the last quarter. Some of you guys may be like, well, Nano, I'm tired, bro. It's been a long year. I put in a lot of work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Why are you not waking up early every day? What's your excuse? You shouldn't be fatigued. You should have all the strength in the world to continue to show up for yourself every single day. There is no fatigue here. We have God's strength on our side. Let's always keep that in mind. Don't be a coward. Don't stop showing up for yourself. Don't stop waking up early. Don't stop going to the gym. If anything, you should be pushing yourself more than you've ever have in this season right now. Because remember what I said last week, we could do in 1 quarter what we didn't do in 3 quarters. You could do so much the next 90 days if you commit to working on you. I've been committed to working on me all year. I've had moments where maybe I was a little bit inconsistent, but I've been working on Nano all year. I've been working on building my relationship with God all year. Have I had challenges? Yes. Have I had moments where I slipped up? Yes. But I get right back on track. That's the name of the game. This battle that we're facing is more spiritual than it is physical. So always keep that in mind. That was key takeaway number 2. Key takeaway number 3. God's love keeps you in the battle. God's love keeps you in the battle. In Romans chapter 8, verses 37 through 39, it says, and then also in Proverbs, it says, the righteous man falls 7 times, but rises again. God's love doesn't keep you out of battles. It keeps you in them. Every fall is a setup for a stronger comeback. Wow. That's so powerful. Think about that. God's love doesn't keep you out of battle. It keeps you in them. It keeps you in them. Every fall is a setup for a stronger comeback. Isn't that amazing when you actually think about it? God's love doesn't keep you out of battles. It keeps you in them. That's so powerful, fam. Every fall is a setup for a stronger comeback. Guys, this is all part of the plan. We have to trust. We got to have faith. We got to have faith that everything that's happening in our life is for a greater purpose. Remember, because of God's past faithfulness is proof of his future provision. It shows that because of what he's done for us in the past, what makes you think he's going to stop from creating the future that you're looking for? He just has to prepare you for it. He has to prepare you for that. Everything you ask for a bigger house. You ask for more money. You ask for to travel more. You ask for a bigger business. You ask for a nicer car. Everything that you ask for, God said, okay, you want that? Fine. I'm going to give it to you, but I got to prepare you for that. Because if he gives it to you and you're not prepared, you're going to lose it. So why are you complaining that you're going through what you're going through? This is what you asked for. That's why they say, be careful what you ask for, because when you ask for something, you're not just asking for the thing itself, you're asking for the journey that comes along with it. That's why I'm grateful that I go through what I go through, because I asked to be one of God's disciples. I asked to be one of the top bilingual motivational speakers in the world. I asked to be a Hall of Fame network marketer. I asked to build and help me build the leadership ability to be able to lead over 5,000 plus people. I asked for God to help me buy my mom and dad a house in the Dominican Republic. I asked for these things. But you know what else I asked for when I asked for those things? I asked for the journey that came with it. So when God tests me in my leadership, when God tests my finances, when God tests my faith, when God tests my vision, when God tests all these areas in my life, I'm grateful because he is putting me on the path to succeed. I just got to overcome the challenges. I can't look at this from a negative perspective. I got to look at all of it from a positive. Because you know what it's just telling me? He heard my prayers. He heard what I asked for. So now I'm on the path. This is the path. You don't just get the thing without the path. The path comes first. The things you ask for come second. It's not things first, then path second. That's not how it works. But the thing is that that's how we want it. You want to ask for the thing and then get the thing first and then go through the path second. That doesn't make any sense. When you ask, you get the journey first and the things second. Understanding that is massive awareness. When I understood that and I accepted that, my life changed. Because I used to be the one that would think, hey, God, I asked for this. Give me the things I asked for first, and then I'll go through the process second. But that's not how it works. Remember, in life, you don't get what you want. Right? In life, you don't get what you want. What do we get, guys? For my OG students on Mornings with Eno, what do we get? If we don't get what we want, let me get some water right here while you guys answer that. If we don't get what we want, what do we get? Let me know in the chat. Let me see. Somebody said what you need. Right? There we go. You get what you deserve. You get what you deserve. It's what you deserve, fam. And if you haven't got it yet, it's because you don't deserve it yet. Right? You get what you deserve. You wanted a nicer car, if you haven't got it yet, you don't deserve it. You wanted more money, you haven't got more money yet, is because you don't deserve it yet. All right. Right before I started the training, I don't know if you guys were hearing the podcast I had playing before we jumped on the training, but there was something that I heard that I said. It says there's a difference between wishing for something and being ready to receive it. That's a word right there. There's a difference between wishing for something and actually being ready to receive it. Are you ready to receive the things that you've been asking for? Truthfully, are you ready to receive it? If God gave you everything you asked for, would you be ready to receive it at this very moment? And the truth be told, I could tell you guys right now, I'm not ready. I'm not. I could tell you guys right now, I'm not ready for the things that I've asked for. I still need more development. I still need more training. I still need more discipline. I still need to have a stronger relationship with God. I still need to learn how to manage my temptations better. I still need to learn how to manage my money better. I still need to learn how to cultivate relationships better. I still need more work. Truth be told, if he gave it to me right now, I don't even know if I'd know what to do with everything that I've asked for. And that's me being vulnerable and being honest and humbling myself, because I've asked for many things, but am I ready to receive it? Remember, there's a difference between wishing for something and actually being ready to receive it. There's a difference. I've wished for many things. Am I ready to receive it? Not yet. Am I almost there? Yes. I trust his timing. If I haven't got it, it's because obviously I don't deserve it yet. Obviously, I'm not ready yet. I understand that everything is a process. You don't plant the seed today and eat the fruit tomorrow. We understand that. So we need to always keep that in mind. I love that. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Everything is made beautiful in its time. I know that one off the top of the head. I love that verse. Everything is made beautiful in God's time. I'm just letting him take control. It's not me. It's not on me. It's on him. When he says, Nano, you're ready. I know everything I asked for. Here's the house for your mom. Here's the money that you've been asking for. Here's the career. Here's the people to lead. Here's the places you wanted to travel to. Here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that. When I'm ready, because now I'm ready to receive it. Now I am deserving because I trusted the process. I never lost faith. I did the work. I did what was required. Now I am ready to receive. Accept the process, fam. Don't ask for the things and expect the things first and the process to come second, because it doesn't work like that. Here's the thing, if God did it that way, you wouldn't appreciate it. If God just delivered everything that you asked for the moment you asked for it, you wouldn't even appreciate it. It's the truth, because you didn't work for it. You didn't put in no pain. You didn't put in no blood, sweat, and tears for it. You won't appreciate it. As a matter of fact, yeah, Q, I agree. You would be ungrateful. You would take it for granted. But if you know that you put the work in every single day, you knew that you cried and that you struggled and that you showed up daily. And when you do get that thing, that's the reality. Some of us need to put in more work. You got to put in more work. You haven't put in enough work. You haven't read enough books. You haven't built a close enough relationship with God yet. You haven't even written your goals down enough this year, and you're over here asking for these things. You don't deserve it yet. You don't. You don't deserve it yet. But guess what? God's love keeps you in the battle. God's love keeps you in the battle. Continue to show up. Because here's an example that my pastor used in yesterday, a story. He said think about a father. He said think about people who are parents. Real quick, if you are a parent on this call, put a 2 in the chat if you are a parent on this call. Where my parents at? Right? Where my parents at? Let me see where we at. We got a couple parents on this call, right? And this goes for my parents so that you guys can understand this, right? He said, think about parents, think about a mom, think about a dad, right? When they have kids, right? And I can't relate because obviously I don't have any kids, but my little brother's a father. All my best friends are fathers and mothers. So I've heard the stories. He said, yo, I have 4 kids. My pastor has 4 kids, right? So he says, yo, I'm the one that wakes up. He says, I'm one of the people. Sometimes my wife wake up, sometimes I wake up. But he said, when I wake up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to, help my kid out with the baby bottle or clean his diapers and everything, at the end of the day, right? Even though it might suck and you have to make the sacrifice and you're losing sleep and everything like that, think about it. Not only do you have to make the sacrifice and it may be annoying at the time, but surprisingly, your love deepens every single time you wake up, right? Like, even though you have to wake up and clean the diapers, even though you have to wake up and put the baby back to sleep and give it milk and do all of that, even though you have to do all those things for that baby and you have to make all those sacrifices, in some weird way, your love for that baby increases. It actually gets deepened. Regardless of all the messes and all the mistakes and all the BS that they put us through, your love deepens for that baby. He basically said that God works the same way. When you mess up, when you're not doing what you're supposed to do and God has to come and clean up your mess, regardless of how many times he's had to clean up our messes for all the sins and all the stuff that we do, his love for us deepens. Think about that. Think about how much mistakes we've had to make. When he said that, that was when I started to get really emotional. Because I'm like, damn, bro, I've been a mess up in my life, bro. But you know what? God came and cleaned up my mess every time. He's been so graceful with me. He's been so patient with me. I've made mistake after mistake, knowing I was making the mistake and still made the mistake. And he was faithful. He was graceful. And his love for me deepened even more because his love is unconditional. Think about that. Think about that. Think about how powerful that is when you actually sit down and think about it. My parents, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. Does it really work that way for my parents? Is it really like that? Is it really like that? Is it really that, yo, every time you got to clean up after your baby, and even though all these sacrifices you got to make, the early mornings, the late nights, the cleaning up after them, is it true that even though you have to do all of that, your love for that child still deepens regardless? Do you still love that baby, that kid so much more? Regardless of it, right? Even though it may suck at the time, even though you may be frustrated at the time, do you still love it regardless? And look, every parent is saying yes, 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 100% yes. It's worth every second. Yes, and will not change anything. God's love for us, Miraculous J is like, I wish I could go back and do it all over. Well, God works the same way. God works the exact same way. All the mess ups we do, all the sins we commit, all the times, he loves us even more through it all. Isn't that beautiful to think about it? That we have somebody that even though we continue to mess up, still loves us through our imperfections. It's a beautiful thing. Build that relationship. This part of the story was what made me so emotional, because I started to think about all the mistakes that I made and to think about how graceful he's been with me. It made me emotional to even think about it. Like, wow, God, thank you for being so graceful with me. Thank you, because sheesh, man, I couldn't even imagine. It's unexplainable, Rain. I agree. It really is unexplainable. There's nothing like God's love, fam. So remember, this battle, you're not going to lose it. You're not going to lose this battle. You're going to win it. So that was valuable lesson number 3 that I got. Valuable lesson number 4, it was conviction builds, condemnation destroys. Conviction builds, condemnation destroys. Happy tears for sure. In Matthew 12, verse 37, it says, by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. Right? Too often, and this was powerful. This was powerful. Oh my God. He says, too often we mimic the enemy's words instead of God's words. And what ends up happening is condemnation keeps us stuck. This is so powerful. Conviction builds, condemnation destroys. He was talking about how we use the words of the enemy more than we use the words of God. Because the enemy has such a strong hold on so many people in this world, because the enemy has such a stronghold, guess what? We use more of the enemy's words instead of God's words. This is why we got to start reading the word, fam. This is your sword right here. This is your sword. This is your weapons right here. If you don't have this, how are you going to fight the spiritual battle? And I'm telling you guys, because let me tell you guys, I've done this battle without the word, and it's so hard. It's so hard. You have to have that relationship. You got to have it. If you constantly are telling yourself, I'm not enough, I don't think I'm worthy enough, guess what? You're using the enemy's words. And if you're saying that to other people, you're also doing the enemy's work. You're not doing God's work. You are good enough. You are more than enough. You are valuable. You are worthy. You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are everything that you believe yourself to be. Remember, the person that can and the person that thinks they can't are both right. Stop using words that destroy you. Use the words that build you up. You will never hear me say, I'm not enough. Don't use the enemy's lies. Use God's provision, God's promises for us, fam. And that was takeaway number 4. That was so powerful. And then the last one, number 5, that I got so we could wrap it up is live like you can't lose. Live like you can't lose. Live like you can't lose. We're not just fighting for victory. Think about this. We're not just fighting for victory. You're fighting for so much more. This is a battle you cannot lose. Live boldly, love deeply, and fight fearlessly for the kingdom of the Lord. Do whatever it takes. Trust me, things can change for you. That's how I'm living right now. I'm living like I cannot lose. Because God has never lost a battle, and he's on my side. I'm not fighting to survive. I'm fighting to win. This is one battle I know I'm not going to lose. I am confident when I say that. I believe that when I say that. There's no way I lose this battle. No chance I lose this battle. I got God on my side. So I want you to step into this week with that confidence. I want you to go into this week living like you cannot lose. Because this battle, you won't lose it. Even though it may seem hard, even though it seems like things are not working in your favor, even though things may not be working out the way that you want them to work out, this battle you cannot lose because it's already won. It's already won. And I know for some of us, it may be hard to accept that because some of you may be like, well, no, you don't understand what I'm going through. I probably don't. But you know who does? He does. And if he's on your side, you can't lose, fam. Keep your vibrations high. Stay positive. Work on yourself. Do the work in the mornings. Remember, all these challenges, all this opposition, the reason why you're even going through it is because of God's favor in your life. You're on the right path. All of us are on the right path. We just got to accept it. We have to know where we are. We have to trust in God's plan for us. We have to remember that, hey, when we ask for things, we don't get the things first and then the process second. No, we get the process first and then the thing second. So accept that right now you're in your process. Accept that right now you're not deserving. Accept that right now you're not ready to receive it. And instead, fall in love with the process. Commit to being ready to receive. That's where I'm at. I'm in love with the process. I am developing myself to be ready to receive. That's why I'm reading the books. That's why I'm writing my goals down. That's why I'm going to the gym. That's why I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to become deserving of the things that I asked for, to be ready to receive the things that God is going to bless me with. And I know that every battle I'm going through right now, I'm not going to lose because he's on my team. Right? You don't start a game and win right away. You have to go through the game. You have to shoot, you have to score, you have to, sometimes the other team will score, sometimes the other team will go up against you and score more than you to start off the game. But as long as you have God on your side, you will win. And that's the beauty of it. I've had games in my life where I started and I was losing in the beginning. But then guess what? I ended up winning at the end. Life is the same way. Life is the exact same way. You don't start a game and then a second later win it. No, the whole game has to go through. You have to finish the game. If you have negative thoughts around, how do you get that detox to focus back on work? Adrian, that's a great question. Remember, when it comes to thoughts, a lot of negative thoughts come from your five senses, is what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're tasting, what you're touching, right? A lot of your thoughts are created by what you're seeing on a day-to-day basis. My best advice for you is change the routine, right? If you know that you're spending too much time on social media, you're spending too much time with negative friends, you're spending too much time looking at things that are not working for you, the story that you're telling yourself and everything like that, then let's change that story. I love what Rosie's saying, right? And it's funny because I used to say those things to Rosie, and look, now Rosie's the one giving advice, but change the story. What's the story that you're telling yourself? Feed your mind with positive information, read books, listen to audios, listen to worship music, go to church, spend your time in positive environments. But you have to do it consistently though, Adrian. It can't just be something you do one day, right? You can't just do it just one day. You have to do it every single day over a period of time, because you have to drown out the noise, the negativity, right? You could do fasting, you could pray, Bible study, go to the gym, read good books, listen to audios, doing worship, all those things, bro. You start to do those things every single day, and you allow that to be what feeds you, and you drown out and you starve the negative thoughts. If you do that enough, eventually the positive will be more powerful in your life than the negative. But in order for you to do that, you have to do the work. You gotta do the work. Exactly. If you do it one day, it won't work. You have to do it a week, 2 weeks, a month, etc., for it to finally drown out and you can starve the distractions and feed the focus. So you got to get back to it. And guess what? And I know that you said to focus back on work. I know you want to maybe, I don't know if it's physical work that you're talking about. You got to do more spiritual work, working on you, working on Adrian. Spend an hour every day with Adrian and watch what'll happen. It'll change everything. Intentional hour, phone in another room. That's what I have to do. When I do my morning routine, I got to leave my phone in another room if I really want to focus. Because if I have it next to me, calls, text messages, emails, notifications, I get distracted. It's not going to work. So I pray that you guys got value from today's training. Put a 555 if you got value from today's training. I wanted to start the training off with that right away, because I wanted to make sure that you guys were basically set up to win this week. I wanted you guys to know that this battle, you're going to win it. You're going to win this battle, fam. And I appreciate you asking, Adrian. I know it takes a lot of courage to even ask a question in general, but I'm sure that your question helped a lot of other people on this call. So I appreciate you for being courageous to ask, because sometimes the same question you had is the same question somebody else had. They just didn't have the courage to ask, but you just helped somebody and you just impacted somebody by asking that question, family. So I appreciate you for asking. All right, fam. So I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember, I want you guys to write this in the chat. This battle, I cannot lose. I want you to type that in the chat for me. This battle, I cannot lose. Can everybody type that real quick in the chat box? This battle, I cannot lose. This battle, I cannot lose. Because we have God on our side. And we're so blessed and we're so grateful. All right, guys. So just keep that in mind. At any time throughout the week or any time throughout the rest of the year, just remind yourself, yo, this battle, I cannot lose. This battle, I cannot lose. We good. God is on our side. When you have him on your side, when you have him on your team, you'll never lose. And remember, we're just in the process of the things we have to experience in order for us to get the things that we deserve and we ask for. Embrace it, love it, appreciate it, be grateful, be happy, be filled with joy, man. Be happy, be excited, be so grateful that at least God heard your prayer and he's putting you through the process. Why be sad? Why be stressed? Why be worried? Why all these negative thoughts and feelings and emotions when you ask for something and God is putting you through the process to get there, fam? Come on. Let's change the way that we're looking at it. We're not going to lose anyway, so why be stressed? Why be... God heard our prayers. He heard it. We're on the process. Love it. Appreciate it. Be happy. Smile. Big cheesy smiles. Why be sad? God got us, fam. So I get baptized Saturday. Oh my God. God is screaming. We're all so happy. Heaven is rejoicing right now. Please send us videos. Please send us videos because that's going to be a beautiful experience to watch. So congratulations to our sister Rosie in Christ that is getting baptized. God bless you, fam. I'm so happy for you. But with that being said, guys, that does wrap up today's call. I want to let you guys enjoy the rest of the day. As you guys know, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, subscribe. If you haven't liked this video, like this video. All right. Make sure that if you're going to leave a comment below on what was your biggest takeaway. All right. On today's session. And let's end this call with a little prayer and then we'll wrap it up right there on this call. Quick prayer. Everybody bow your heads. Let's pray. Father God, we want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Monday morning. Today, we are feeling so strong. We're feeling so grateful. And we're just filled with gratitude in our hearts because we know that we have you in our corner. A lot of us on this call, we're facing battles that we can't even describe right now because there's just so many different battles, from relationships to spiritual to financial and all different areas. Some of us are dealing with some health challenges. But we know that as long as we have you in our corner, as long as we have you on our team, we cannot lose any battles, Father. So we want to thank you for the process that you're putting us through. We want to thank you for the challenges. We want to thank you for the wisdom, the guidance, and everything that you're doing for us each and every single day, because sometimes we overlook it. Sometimes we think of it as punishment, but in reality, all it is preparation, Father. So we want to thank you for the word this morning. I want to thank you for using me to basically share this message with the rest of the family, because I know how many of them needed this message. So thank you for your love. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your guidance. I also want to pray that my sister Rosie on this Saturday has a beautiful baptism, and that you put your hand over her, and that she does your work, and that she continues to be the example that you want to see in the rest of the world. I'm so happy for her. Let's continue to have a great week. Let's have a productive week, and everything that we do will be for your praise and for your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. Sheesh. Wow, what a day, what a call, what a morning, what an amazing day so far, fam. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. Let's be productive. We will be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. for another episode of Mornings with Ano, YouTube and Instagram edition. Remember, this is the battle you cannot lose. Remind yourself every day, this is a battle I cannot lose. We won't lose because we have God on our side. I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. God bless you all, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go. Thank you, fam. God bless.